Project 1065, Chapter 57, One Last Time. We had our first training on the giant anti-aircraft guns that day on a training field just outside the city. School was officially out for every boy old enough to fight, forever. I should have been happy about that. It had to mean that the Nazis were losing, desperate. Or I should have been excited, like the rest of the boys, to get to fire the enormous house-sized gun. But all I could think about were the jet fighter plans in Fritz's house, and the clock ticking away the hours and minutes until Simon escaped from Berlin. I had to get into Fritz's house by the end of the day. I kept trying to catch Fritz to casually mention getting together this afternoon at his house to read detective novels, but I never had the chance. He had a new group of friends now, and he didn't have time for me. When they loaded us up to take us back to the city at the end of the day, I couldn't even get on the same truck as Fritz. There wasn't any room around him. I lost Fritz in the coodle-moodle of boys climbing out of trucks. Had he gone straight to whatever science team was? Or had that special team really been about Melker? Was it over? Had Fritz gone home? I huffed, my breath spewing like a dragon as I sprinted the 10 blocks to his house. Lena answered the door, her big eyes staring at me. Is Fritz home? I said, panting from the run. Lena stared at me. Lena, is Fritz home? Lena shook her head. She started to shut the door, but I was done waiting around for Fritz. I didn't have time. I stuck my foot in the door. Can I come in and wait for him? I asked Lena. She was probably the only one home. Lena stared at me a few more seconds and opened the door to me. Yes! I almost cried for joy. I was in. A quick glance at the blueprints one last time, then I'd never have to come here again. Lena closed the door behind me, and I waited in the hall. Lena stood watching me. You can go do whatever it was you were doing, I told her. She kept staring at me like she always did. Seriously, go. Get, I told her, as if she was some annoying puppy. At last, she turned and went upstairs. I shook my head as I stepped inside Fritz's father's study. Crazy girl, I thought, and then suddenly I pulled up short, my breath catching in my throat. All the blueprints were gone from the walls.